Herc, no doubt about it. A draw against Uruguay is a good result, but does it flatter the U.S. men's national team for their performance on Sunday?
I don't know about flatter the U.S. men's national team.
No, so you thought they were deserving of a draw?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Very well dissected, Seb. Good job on that. No, but both teams had chances, absolutely. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination, if you're Diego Alonso, you're going to feel happy about that defensive effort from Uruguay. Sure, a lot of offensive output. You could have scored some goals. Probably should have scored some goals. The goals that you did score in Mexico, you probably didn't score against the U.S. men's national team. And if you're Greg Berhalter, and I said this when I was watching the first half, tactically it was a mess for both teams. There were goals in this game for both teams. More for Uruguay? Yeah, without a doubt. But if you're the U.S. men's national team, you also put Uruguay in some compromising positions. What I'm most worried about if I'm the U.S. men's national team is this Uruguay team historically and as of date isn't a team that's supposed to have the lion's share of the ball. Supposed to have a lion's share of the offensive play. They're a team that sits back and is reactive, is good in transition, will pick their moments. That wasn't the case. Now, I know conditions probably weren't ideal. You're playing a June game in Kansas City. A day game, mind you. The heat, humidity, the way the ball won't travel fast, your opponent probably a little bit more used to it than you. Sure, but this is your home game, and this could have been a game where they were routed, and because Uruguay didn't take advantage of those goals, they weren't. But in the same breath, I could say the U.S. men's national team had their chances, and if they would have scored, this could have been a very difficult game, very different game, excuse me. That wasn't the case. Flattering? I wouldn't go and say flattering 0-0 scoreline, but they will take it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you say they could have gotten routed. I guess that's what I was thinking when I came up with the question, did it flatter the U.S.? It probably could have been 2 or 3-1. You're right, the U.S. had some chances, certainly more than Mexico created against Uruguay. But it also probably could have been 5 or 6, right? Uruguay had some really high-end, high-quality chances. I think what we see here, and I'm drawn to the comparison between Mexico, even though this was a totally different Uruguay, at least in the first half, to the one that played Mexico, right? Diego Alonso made, I think, 10 changes from the team that we saw against El Tri. Is the gap, man. The gap between CONMEBOL and CONCACAF. If Mexico and the U.S. are the best that CONCACAF has to offer, Uruguay, let's not forget, before Diego Alonso came in, they weren't going to the World Cup. This isn't the best necessarily of CONMEBOL, and they look miles ahead of both Mexico and the United States. And I think one thing that we saw in this game, Herc, is like when you actually get to the highest levels against an Uruguay, we haven't seen maybe the U.S. take on such a high-quality opponent. The questions that we've been asking about the center of defense and the number 9 position, that's where you really see them, because those are the teams that punish you. Uruguay didn't in this case, but these are the games that punish you if you're not contundente in the final attacking third offensively. Jesus Ferreira was not. And these are the games where you get punished for your mistakes, usually. And there were mistakes. There was softness in that underbelly of the U.S. defense that we haven't seen them pay for in CONCACAF. You've
seen them pay for in CONCACAF, just not enough. And that's the issue. They play against a Canadian national team, Costa Rica, and you see them get punished for those mistakes. I agree with you. That is the difference when you're talking about player talent, is how consistently can you do it, right? Because you see evident talent on both sides, whether you're talking about the U.S. men's national team or Mexico or even the Canadian national team, the elite of CONCACAF. You see that talent level. But there's a reason that some of these players aren't in Europe, or the ones that are in Europe aren't getting consistently looked at or on the field for consistently good clubs. That's because it's a consistency thing. It's very easy to get there. I've always heard this. It's very easy to get there, to maintain yourself, to stay there. That is the difficult task, and you're seeing that. A lot of these fires aren't put out, and who does put them out is usually the opponent.
Yeah, it almost felt like a clean sheet de casualidad, no? Like it's a shutout, but it may well could have been 3 or 4.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.